everybody, this is Dan, moreoldstuff.com. I just got back from another biannual major auction, the one I always go to. I've got my other videos over here at the Vista Engine Tractor Museum. Had one yesterday, and it was the big outdoor one, so they had lots of tractors for sale and cars and stuff like that. So it's where I do kind of my major picking, and a couple times a year they have this big auction. In January through April they'll have a smaller auction. I'll be going to those, but anyhow, so let me show you what I picked up. So I bought a pallet that was full of small engine parts, and you see here, this is Briggs Straton. They make, riding lawnmowers, weed whackers, small engines. Sometimes they're on mini bikes. They have engines on chainsaws, whatever. Koehler is another company that makes small engine parts, and so I've got this big box. I bought a pallet that had this box, which you can see. It's a pretty good sized box, which is full. It was full when I started with it. I've been picking through it. And this box here, which is a very good sized box, and it was full, and I still haven't made it through this box. These two boxes, what I have left, is full of Briggs Straton. This is new old stock. This is original manufacturing OEM stuff, which are keywords when I list this stuff. They're in their boxes. These are rings, engine rings, for example. A lot of them have the part numbers on them. All of them are part numbered. They're complete. I'm still going through them. I took all of the Koehler brand items out. They tended to be a little bit going for a little bit more money when I was doing my research on them, and that's how I did it. Actually, the day before I went to the auction, found this box and started going through it. Grabbed some part numbers and did a little bit of research that night. And actually, while I was standing there too, and was seeing set of rings, especially Koehler rings, going for like 30 bucks for a box, a set of rings. So this would be for a piston. And there was several rings for Koehler in there. There were these they were rods, piston rods. This. Now these are out of the box, and they're a little on the corroded side, but they're rusty on the bolts. I might be able to clean these up and get rid of these out of the box, just these two, because these look like they've probably been sitting in a shop somewhere and sitting on the shelf or in a box just like this, or on a shelf, and they just scooped them off all into this box. I don't know how many I have. I'm guessing close to maybe 300, maybe even more, 300 individual parts and boxes. Like this one here it's a link spring, so this box has one spring in it. It's a spring used for the carburetor. There's a connecting rod in this one, and I don't even think this has even been open. So this is a rod for a Briggs & Straton engine, but it's basically brand new, even though the box is dirty and everything. A lot of these parts are for older engines that they don't produce anymore, and that's kind of makes them a little more valuable because they're a little harder to find. And then there's a lot of guys who are either trying to maintain the existing equipment they have, or they're restoring an older engine of some kind. So this is what they got. Here's a carburetor. It's a brand new carburetor. I know this was out of the box, so I have no idea what the brand is. I can only assume that it might be a Briggs & Straton. So I'm gonna figure this out. I can't. There's no part number on it either. I was looking at this the other day and I couldn't find this one, so who knows. But I'm not worried about it. I've got so many things in here. I already started listing. I have another box upstairs with the Koehler stuff in it that I'll show you here in a little bit. But I've always started to research and list and kind of getting this stuff going. And I'm averaging probably per part, averaging about $30 to $40 per part. And that's me listing them at a lower price than what the highest listed one is. So I kind of want to move these. I know I may be able to get twice for some of these, but I have so much of this stuff. I want to move it. I'm going to keep it going, and we'll see. Now the Briggs & Straton parts may not be as higher in value. Now I did notice something when I was looking at these boxes. And here's an example, I guess, put them side by side. These boxes are orange and these are red. Same Briggs Straton. I have a feeling that these orange boxes might be older parts versus the orange and blue versus the red and black. I have a feeling these are probably older parts, maybe from the 50s or 60s. There's a governor. And they're just parts. Lots of parts. So I got a lot out of that. So the pallet also included not only all these parts, it included, I can show you here, this bucket of tools. And in this tool bucket, a lot of steel clamps. Plus the bucket's kind of cool. It's one of these ones that you hangs on the side of a bucket. That was in there. There was some sanders. There was some tools. There was this railroad rail. There's a railroad rail hanging in there. I mean, there was just all kinds of stuff on there. Some parts, boxes and full of just pieces of metal and stuff, odd pieces of metal. This particular, oops. Oh yeah, by the way, these are gaskets. These are all head gaskets. There's about 15 head gaskets here from Briggs Straton. So head gaskets are like maybe 10 bucks a piece or something like that. This is a Napa part, but it's a coil or an ignition coil. The coil itself is brand new. It's brand new. It's got a little bit of rust on it, but it's brand new. It's a brand new part. So not sure what this goes on, but the part number is on there, so I'll look that up and I'll figure that one out. This is, oh, by the way, this Koehler piece is an actual head to an engine, and I'm seeing these go for 100. Oop, and there's the gasket. I also got a whole pack. I got 10 head gaskets for these too that match this, but something like that. Anyhow, so there's a whole head with a gasket. You know, brand new. These are, I've seen these selling for 100 bucks. So it's pretty cool. I don't know how long it'll take me to sell these. I don't anticipate these like just jumping out of eBay and being bought like that. But so here, this whole box is bearings, all kinds of bearings. I kind of like this box. A little nostalgia here. The Timken roller bearing company was in Canton, Ohio, which is where I was born. And my grandfather used to work for this company many years ago. So that's why I kind of saw these right away. So these are all bearings. Now there's some old ones in here. Looks like there's some used ones. They may have just thrown them in here. So I'll work through this and pull out what parts. There's a Ford part of some kind. Let's see if I can open it one-handed and I'll show you what it is. We'll look at it together because I have no idea. I still haven't gone through every one of these. Oh, it's a universal joint. It's a U-joint. There's some paperwork in there, so hopefully it's got a part number on it. Ford U-joint. I don't know, probably like 10 bucks. Depending on what kind of car it is. I don't know. This stuff seems to me like it's like around the 50s, 60s. Maybe some 70s stuff in here. Not a lot of modern. It's all American stuff. American car, it's all American made too. I know the Koehler company is made in Wisconsin. Everything from Koehler is made in Wisconsin. I don't know if the company still sells small engines and small engine parts or not, but this is Napa. There's a bearing in there. That looks like a used, no, man, is that used? There might be a used one in there, or it's just tarnished. See, that's what I'm worried about. Some of these, they might have put the used one back in there when they took the new one out. Yeah, that looks pretty clean. It's just greasy. A little oil, from light oil, it's not grease, so that's a new bearing. They cover it in like a light oil. Anyhow, this is full of bearings. I don't know about this box. This box, I'm still it's not why I bought the pallet. I bought the pallet for the other stuff, but so with that, some of the tools, and it was quite a big pallet. I paid 70 bucks for the whole pallet. It was an auction. Me and another guy got into the bidding war. There was somebody else, I think, who saw the value here too. And anyhow, we got it for 70 bucks. I'm gonna make that back in the first 4 parts I sell. I think, 4 parts, then I'll make it back. So I'm picking the higher end parts right now. I'm gonna try to get those listed and move on from there. Some of the other things I got that were not part of the palette, I'm gonna have to do a little. There's some other things I got. They weren't on the palette, but they were here. I got this box of manuals. I paid $5 for this whole box. Tractor manual. I sell these pretty regularly, and it doesn't have to be. Some of these are in actually good condition. That one's not. But then there's these Mitchell collision estimating guide, and basically what it is it's parts. It's a parts list. It tells you parts and how much the part averages as far as the cost goes, what the cost of the part is. I guess it's when you're in a repair situation, like in a shop, and you want to do a quick estimate, and you need, quarter panels, doors, blah, 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 and then there's all the pieces. The mirror costs that, the window costs that. But these are dated from 1983, and there's several in here. I don't know, I haven't looked these particular ones up. There's a Jeep Cherokee manual, a Haynes manual for Cherokee 84 through 6. This is in actually good shape. Cover's in really good shape. And there's a Chevrolet GMC 82 to 93, and this is in really good shape too. It's got some grease marks on the edges of it. That's about it. This is really cool. This is a 1963 Rambler manual. Classic 6 Ambassador V8 Technical Service Manual, American Motor Corporation, AMC. Looks like got some loose papers. It's a little rough, but usually, a collector might have one of these cars and may need one. I haven't looked this up either to see, but we'll see. I think this will be fairly desirable. I can clean some of this dust and dirt off of it. It's kind of dirty. I can clean some of the dirt off of it, but yeah, it's still stained and whatever. So that one will be. Now here you go, a turbocharger manual, and this is a manual for something that I don't see a cover or anything for. Put those over here. This would have been a really cool manual, but it doesn't have the cover. This is the manual to a 1986 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. Giant manual. That might still have some value. I don't know how many pages it's missing. They're not really numbered. And they're kind of numbered weird. A3 general information, so maybe it's missing the first 1 or 2 pages. And then here's some more of these collision for Japanese cars. There's a Craftsman manual. Here's a import European edition. Here's the Lincoln Ford Mercury, and here's the Buick Chevrolet Oldsmobile GMC. So anyhow, it's a bunch of manuals. I don't know what these have any value to them or not, since their values that they quote are not up to date. I think this is probably going to be one of the better ones in this whole box. This tractor one will be, and these other two repair manuals will probably do pretty good. Do halfway decent, but for $5 for the whole box, it's not bad. And then I got these. These are very cool, really solid steel. I'm going to guess these are from the 60s, 50s or 60s. Chevrolet hubcaps. It's real heavy, really heavy. They're not like the cheap ones that they put on cars. These are metal, they're not plastic. This one's the worst one out of the bunch. It's got some corrosion on it and some rust on it, but these other ones are actually pretty good. Of course, anyone that was real serious would buy these and then get them re-chromed, so they'd be real shiny. But I paid $20 for that set, so I don't think that's too bad. I haven't done much research on this one either, because this came up pretty quick. I didn't see it originally in the auction. It came up, and when there were very few bidders, and I ended up getting it. So, I got some electronic stuff, and this is something I'm going to cover a little later when I dig this thing out. It's really cool looking. I paid $5 for this whole thing. This is all one piece, actually. These this box, which is a rectifier. Signal core says on their rectifier, which is very heavy. That's a power switch. And then that big metal plate becomes a magnet. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later. I'm going to probably do a separate video. I'm actually going to plug all that in and see if I can get it to work and show you how it works. It's a real interesting machine kind of working tool. This is a variable resistor, or a variac it's called. Somebody made a box for it, stuck it on here, made it really easy. It's for AC. Plug a device in here, start it down at zero volts, start working your voltage up as you test it to see how many volts it can handle. It looks like they've readjusted it, so that's 40 volts. But anyhow, I'm going to use this with my radio work that I do. I need one. There's a couple of old gold pans. They're rusty, they don't have holes in them. They're nice for decoration. I clean them up, I can stick them in my antique booth. And then probably the biggest item I got, actually. You can get really big things. Usually I buy furniture. They didn't have much furniture and stuff. This is an, let me hit the, see if I can hit some light. Let's get the lights up here. Might be too bright. This is an old gas stove. I'm looking to see if it's like a reproduction that's just an old reproduction, like maybe from the 80s or something. It just looks kind of cool to me. It's really dirty right now. It's all wired up. I'm gonna, I don't know that it could be used again. It's missing the actual, I don't know, I guess grate that goes across here, and it's missing one burner. These burners are just sitting in there real loose, and I think maybe whoever pulled it out maybe have lost that. It's porcelain. Top is porcelain, and the porcelain front legs are painted in light porcelain. So I'm going to clean it. I'm going to oil it down to make it look real sharp and everything, and I think someone's going to end up making a planter out of it or something. I'll take it to my antique booth. All the handles are on it, which is kind of cool. These are porcelain valves. They actually all work too. So that's kind of the biggest thing I got, was that, and I think that's it. So there's a haul video for you. Actually, I got more stuff. I'll probably do another one inside with my smaller things here later when I bought a bunch of toys too. So I don't bore you too much. That's the haul. The car automotive engine haul, I guess you call it. Mostly automotive and engine related stuff, car related stuff. This haul. But all right. Thanks a lot. Talk to you guys later, and subscribe and keep following me here.